Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yajna Ki. So Hare Krishna Mataji's. I started off without explaining anything because sometimes when we chant the names of God, we tend to think too much into it. And whenever we think what is the logic, what is the sense, and when we start bringing our mind and intelligence, the effects of chanting actually fades away. You will find that many noble things in life, or many things in life which brings value to us, relationships, circumstances, situations, mean so much to us. Sometimes there's no logic in it. If we bring too much logic into something, you are not able to relish it, because you will find that your intelligence is always blocking you from logic. If let's say your mother cooks a very nice dish, and if she puts it in front of you, it is really good, and you start digging into it, but as you start tasting it, you start thinking, what is the ingredient here? What is the science behind this? How did it ferment? If you start thinking about all this, you will start getting frustrated with the food that your mother had cooked for you. But without any logic, if you just immerse into it, you will tend to relish it a bit more. But having understood that there is a science and logic behind cooking and behind eating, but that is something that we should get into outside of the time that you eat. Just imagine you go to your mother and ask her to explain the science. Probably she'll give you a slap and say that just eat what I've cooked. Right? Don't ask me how this thing happened, that thing happened. Right? Tomorrow, then you just have to eat your logic. One day will go, 2 days will go, third day will say it's okay, I don't need the logic, you just give me the food. That's life. Right? So I'm so happy to see all of you here today, especially students. Right? As I was coming in the lift, Mataji was telling me that she's brought her daughter. She's studying in SEGS, and I think a lot of you here are from NTU, if I'm not wrong, right? Parth Prabhu is kindly invited, and Subit Prabhu, I know him as Shamdev Prabhu. You saw his leg, right? So there's no logic here as well. I don't know why he's having this program and he's so injured, but he said that, if the youth are coming and if they want to get to know about Gita, he said he'll lose the other leg also. No, I'm just kidding, right? So Prabhu, thank you so much. It's so nice that you've opened up your house. So today what we want to do is, we've just concluded Gita Jayanti, right? You would have known, just 1-2 weeks ago we celebrated Gita Jayanti. So during Gita Jayanti, you will find, right, in our culture, people come together and they chant the entire Gita, which is 700 odd verses. It's good to chant, but it is very important to know why we chant and why the Gita. Right? We could have chanted our NTU or SEGS textbooks, right? Sec 3 textbook for Gita Jayanti. Why only the Gita? I have been acquainted with the Gita for the last 3 decades, and I had this question: when I was told to chant the Gita, to study the Gita, my mind and intelligence came to the forefront to say that why must it be the Gita? But after 30 years, the question I have in my mind is why not? Because the experience, the nourishment, the science, and the logic that the Bhagwad Gita brings into a person's life, like how it brought for Arjuna, is something that cannot be explained. But one thing that I have noted, that why the Gita is not so much studied, and it's not so much relished, and it's not so much applied in our lives, because the Gita only costs $10. It's a very cheap book, and you can easily get it. So you will find in our lives, especially when you come into a country like Singapore, I have been in this country all my life. I was born, I was bred, I served for national service. Right? In Singapore, if something is not complicated, we don't usually accept it. Don't usually, right? If something is very simple, we'll say that not good, right? You must put some complexity behind it before I accept it as something tangible. And if you say it's $5, I'll say that definitely not low quality, right? Because Singapore, everything is expensive. So only if you get into a restaurant that for 2 persons you charge $200, then you will say yes, this restaurant is very good. But if you go to Little India and they tell you the idli is $3, you'll find that okay, but not Michelin, right? It's not $15 in Italy. So we don't take it very seriously. This was my feeling when I saw the book. Because it was so unassuming, it was cheap, I got it free. So it was in my bookshelf for at least 2-3 years before I got to the Gita. But once I got into it, the first verse of the Gita, what is the first verse of the Gita? Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamaka pandavas chaiva kim akurvata sanjaya. This whole Gita, you will find, grows from the soil of chaos. When you look at Gita or look at people who study the Gita, what do you think about? Peace, quiet, high philosophy. But you will find in the first verse, there is nothing spiritual and there is nothing peaceful. The first verse of the Gita, Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjaya, right? What is happening on the Kurukshetra? What is happening on the battlefield? Not in the Himalayas, not in the temple, right? Not even in a person's home, which is meant to be peaceful. He's asking, what is happening on the battlefield? But that is not the most important point. The important point is how he addresses Sanjaya. Mamaka Pandavas. How are my sons doing? How are the Pandavas doing? In that one statement, he splits the family. This is mine, that is theirs. How many of us have heard this in our family? This is mine, that is theirs. How many of us have heard this in friendships? How many of us have heard this in relationships? It's happening every day. Country to country, to school, right? We are all competing because we are all Dhritarashtra. This is mine, that is yours. What is mine is good, what is yours is bad. But mostly what we think is, what is yours is very good. What I have is not very good. The grass is always greener on the other side. So he was very worried. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. He said, this place, Kurukshetra, there is a person. His name is Krishna. And because he is there, the outcome of the battle may change. Because his influence is one that is very calming, and people will start understanding the bad behind war. And they will give up this war. But Sanjay, I tell you, I don't want my sons to give up this war. I want them to fight. I want them to fight. I want them to categorically reclaim the kingdom. So you will find that the Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago in the seat of chaos. And you will find that in 2025, the Bhagwad Gita, which costs $10 still, maybe 15 now, is more relevant now than ever before. When you switch on your browser, when you scroll your phone, when you take the newspapers, the only thing that we're reading now is that there is chaos everywhere. Okay? There's chaos in Southeast Asia, there's chaos in Asia, there's chaos in the US, there's chaos in Europe. Everywhere there's chaos. And when there's chaos, when there's difficulty, you know what the human mind does? You keep listening to the news, and every time they're talking about Donald Trump saying something crazy, right? You keep hearing it. It's entertaining for a while. After that, what do? You switch it off. Because you say that enough is enough. You know what the mind is doing? Whenever there is chaos, the mind will eventually seek comfort. Eventually it will seek. Whenever we are going through some difficulty, there will come a point in time we will try to escape the problems. It will, because it becomes too overwhelming. So when I got the Gita, I thought that the Gita was all about how we can come out of our problem. But if you study the Gita, the Bhagwad Gita for 700 verses, right? Maybe Krishna spoke about 600 odd verses. He's telling Arjuna only one thing. Because Arjuna, when he went onto the battlefield, right? Who did he see? He saw his family members on his side. And when he saw the opposite side, who did he see? Also his family members. Usually your family members on your side, right? But when he saw opposite, the family members were also there. And the moment he saw that, he got overwhelmed. If there is a stranger on the street, he comes up to you and he starts screaming at you. It's happening in Singapore these days, the train, you see them randomly screaming at each other. But you will find, after you get off the train, 1-2 days later, you don't feel much. Why? Because you don't know him, he doesn't know you. They're complete strangers. But when you're at home, if someone stabs you in the back, or someone speaks to you in such a way that vilifies you, how do you feel? Can you forget it in a day? There are some relationships, 20, 30 years, they don't talk to each other. And they don't know why they're not talking to each other. Because something was said in that relationship because they were very close. And at that point in time, we lose many a times all sense of logic and all sense of courage. Because someone whom I have loved all my life has now stabbed me. This is exactly what happened to Arjuna. But Arjuna was very soft-hearted. So what does he do? He drops his Gandiva. Gandiva is very powerful. Only Arjuna is qualified enough to hold it. But the moment he sees this overwhelming situation, whatever he had, all his tools, right? Everything did not serve its purpose. You will find that in this day and age we are equipped. But sometimes these equipments and tools that we have do not protect us because our mind becomes too overwhelmed in a difficult situation. So when that happened, he tells Krishna, my mouth, my senses, my hands, it's all getting dried up. He uses that word. It's very important for us to understand this. Because you will find in your own life, when something hits you, you will find that your senses tend to dry up. When you are very stressed, if the food in front of you is very sumptuous, you will find that you won't be able to relish it. You will tell your mother or your father that no appetite. They will tell you, such nice thing I cooked for you today. But because the senses have dried up because of stress, able to relish it. So when all this happens, what do? I just want to go into bed. We shut the door or we switch on the TV is the ultimate escape box, which our parents have been telling us since eon, don't watch it. Right? TV we should not watch. Why do they say that? Because innately, this TV, this room that we get into, the computer screen, it's all alright. But these are tools where we escape the real problems of life. Because for 2-3 hours, sorry to say, especially movies in our culture, you have to remove your brain a little and you watch the movie, then it makes sense to you. Because there's no logic inside. We want to understand something that has no logic, right? It brings me away from my stress. So these things, these tools, become our guides in life. You see the word? It's very logical. We surrender our empowerment to technology and to equipments and tools like this. So Arjuna also surrendered and he told Krishna, I am not going to fight. Where do I want to go? I want to go. In Singapore you don't have a forest, but you have your room. To your parents you ask them, they will say that your room is worse than forest. Right? Come out, be with us. Because I went through this, so I can really relate to it. Whenever there was some difficulty, I used to go into the room and I used to just sit down in the room. And when relatives or someone used to come, my mother used to always tell me, come out, spend some time with them. I'll just come on, I'll say, hello, and then I'll go back and sit. Right? Why? Because of things like this. Arjuna went through the same thing. He said, no, stop. I want to retreat into the forest. And when I read the Gita, I was expecting in the next verse, Krishna will say, very good. Go to the forest, meditate, don't fight. Because that was my notion of spirituality. But the next verse I read, Krishna fires Arjuna and says that you are a weakling. He really scolds him. He really has a go at him. He said, I thought you were a warrior. I thought you had caliber. You have no caliber. He said, if you have to fight, you have to fight. You cannot retreat into your room. You cannot simply switch on your TV, or you cannot go to the forest. This is what the Gita is about. The Gita tells us that whatever we take up in life, you will always have challenges in it. When we are studying, what is our biggest challenge? Our studies, right? We don't jump out from bed and say that I'm relishing this exam to get, right? I'm studying it, absolutely I don't feel anything. It's a challenge and we tend to retreat. And when you're a student, you'll feel that that is very big problem until you get to your job. Once you start working, if you're in a good company and your boss is perfect, you'll be happy. But 99% of the time, you will want to go back into your student life. And once you start working, after that, you're not entertained, you'll want to get married. After you get married, you'll want to stay in the office. When you go to your office, you want to go back to student life. Then when you get married, you have children. Children come very nice. And then they will have the same set of problems that we are encountering now as students. And then what we decide to do is, child is giving me too much problem, I want to spend time with my spouse. Is it better? Okay. Is this better? Yes. Hare Krishna. So like this, what happens is, we will always go through turmoil in our life, only to find an escape route. But you will find that nourishment and value cannot be found in your comfort zones. How many of us have found or become realized when we were watching TV, escaping everything? How many of us found enlightenment or found what we are going to do in life when we were spacing out in our rooms? you will find you will make decisions, you will find value in your life when you are in the midst of turmoil. Because the circumstances will push you towards certain trajectories where you are forced to make certain decisions, whether you like it or not. This is exactly where Arjuna was. And life will hit you so hard that life will not say, okay, I give you 10 minutes or I give you 10 days. Peacefully you make your decision, then I will hit you. It doesn't do that. Even in your exam hall, right, if you don't know an answer to something, you cannot raise your hand and say that, give me 10 minutes, I'll check something and come back. Your teacher will say you're crazy, right? And how is this exam formed? It is life. Life is also like that. Life will never wait for us to come to a certain juncture before we are given time to make those decisions. And this whole Bhagwad Gita equips us in such a way that when you are in the battlefield, when you are in turmoil, you are able to make your decisions. And you are able to see the positive, and you are able to see some value that is coming out from it. And whole 700 verses, Krishna is telling Arjuna, Arjuna, your heart is now weak. Strengthen your heart. And Arjuna will ask Krishna, how do I strengthen my heart? And Krishna tells him, just listen to me. This is a very important point. You will find that when we lose courage in our life, it is always nice to hear a good friend. And good friends will not always just tell you, it's okay, it's alright. You don't want to study? Let's go for the movie. A good friend will chastise you and tell you, right? This is not the time. I also want to go for a movie, right? You better come with me. Let us do something about our life. And if we stray away from our family, a good friend will not say that, yeah, come, I'm also not with my parents. Right? Let's go somewhere and party. A good friend will tell us, no, you go back home, I'll drive you home, I'll accompany you home. That is a good friend. So the whole Bhagwad Gita is about a friend speaking to a friend. So how do we strengthen our heart? The only way you will find the shortest cut that you can do to strengthen your heart is to actually hear good advice. And this is where the Bhagwad Gita actually comes in. And this is where the practicality of Bhagwad Gita comes in. Krishna tells Arjuna that, my dear Arjuna, you must understand one thing. It's a very famous verse in the Gita, chapter 2, text 40. He tells him that all this turmoil that is in your life is like seasons. The summer will come, the spring will come, autumn will come, winter will come. And this cycle will keep moving, whether you like it or not. This whole wave will keep coming and going. And he tells Arjuna, if you expect winter to not come in this cycle, then he says that you are cheating yourself. Winter will surely come, but summer and spring will also surely come. So he tells him, do not get distracted by these changes, because changes will always happen. This, I will tell you one thing, our modern education does not teach us. They will tell you, in Facebook you scroll it, the good will come. Changes are always going to be there in your life. But there is no education that teaches you how to embrace and handle the change. Quotations will give you inspiration for 5 minutes. Have you read these articles? Similar articles like 21 ways to become better at the gym, 17 ways to become a better student. When you read those articles, you feel so inspired. I am going to do this tomorrow. Right? But after 10 minutes, you don't even know what's the first point. You completely forget it. Krishna never gives 10 points to follow. He goes deep into the psyche of what life is. Because the Gita, one thing I've experienced, the Gita will never cheat you. In Gita, Krishna never tells that Arjuna, you stand here, I'm going to put my hand, some current is going to come, you're going to become realized. There is no magic in Bhagwad Gita. There's absolutely no mysticism. Everything is perfect science. And when Arjuna asks these questions, you know what Krishna tells him? He says, Arjuna, you just do few things. He says, become regulated in your life. Become regulated in what? Ahara, in eating. Right? He says, become regulated in eating. You become regulated in your sleeping. You become regulated in your sleeping. You become regulated in your recreation. This is what we do, right? Eating, sleeping. We defend, study, work, and we have recreation. This is our entire life. No matter how you want to structure it, these four things will always be in your life. And what does Krishna tell Arjuna? He says that if you want to be sharp, if you want to be laser-like, if you want to be able to have courage to face turmoils in life, then on a daily basis, there must be some regulation. Regulation is like going to the gym. If you regulate yourself, if you regulate your muscles, you can carry heavy things. If your back is heavy, if you do deadlifts every day, 7th, 8th day, you start feeling that, hey, I feel a bit better. Same thing Krishna tells Arjuna. Right? He says that have some regulation in your life. Just imagine, there is an army that is waiting to kill Arjuna. What should Krishna have told him? If you shoot the arrow this angle, it will end up on Bhishma and you should be able to kill him. But Krishna does not want to give him quick wins. Because Krishna knows Mahabharata is only one war. Can we all say that after Mahabharata, in this world, we have never seen another war again? Always there is war. So if we only look for solutions to solve the problem that is right in front of our eyes, then we are what we are called misers. We are very myopic. This problem immediately solved. But Krishna tells him that life will bring many wars, many battles. So I will equip you in such a way that whenever you encounter any difficulty, whenever you encounter any battle, you will be able to resolve it. And he tells him that the greatest battle, Arjuna, that you will encounter is not on the battlefield. It is in your own mind. And Arjuna tells Krishna, Krishna, you're right. I am such an expert archer. In Mahabharata, if you read, it is mentioned that Arjuna used to control his arrows not through his hand, through his mind. He could shoot arrows at such a fast pace that he could decimate thousands of warriors. And his quiver was always full. That is how sharp his mind was. But he tells Krishna, my dear Krishna, I can even control the wind, but I cannot control my mind. This he tells. And Krishna tells him, you have diagnosed the problem very well. But he says, it is possible, Arjuna. It is possible to control the mind. And you will find whether you're students, whether you're adults, whether you have children, no children, whether you have exams, no exams, you will find that as long as you can regulate your mind, you will be successful wherever you go. Wherever we go, whenever there is mind that is regulated, you will always be successful. When the mind is not regulated, then we look for escape routes. How many of us look forward to Friday evenings? Okay, I see some hands being raised. How many of us are looking forward to Sunday evenings? No one, why? Why is Sunday? Why we don't look forward? Exactly. Right? Next day is Monday. in any book, have you read that Monday is a very evil day where something catastrophic is going to happen? Is it science? Is there any logic? Why? Because we have built it in our mind. It exists only in our mind. It is not factual. No one is telling us Monday you must be miserable, huh? You don't smile. Right? If we are human beings who want to be happy, tell me the best time to be happy. When is the best time to be happy? Exactly. See? No Bhagwad Gita, no verse, nothing. But perfect logic. If you want to be happy, you must be happy now. Why wait for Friday evening? Why wait for Saturday evening? That is what Krishna is telling me now. This whole Gita, if you come out, right, bring 700 verses, I guarantee you, you'll have a better Monday. I don't know whether you become spiritual, right, you go to the temple, that's up to you. But on Monday, you will be happy. Because your mind will be set in such a way that you will unlearn what many generations of misguidance and mislearning has been put into our mind. We take holidays, right? December comes, when we came, we were asking each other, right? Where did you go for holiday? Why do we take holidays? Randomly we travel to some country and we want to see the place there. Why do we do that? Anyone? I'm not expecting philosophical answers. Why do we travel?
Just change from the mundane life.
Exactly. Very nice point you use. Change from the mundane life. You see? But when you go and travel and sit in the country, does your mundane life change? You go to Paris, you see Eiffel Tower. Right? You see it one day, oh, amazing. You go second day, superb. Third day, 1 week, 2 weeks. Then you start seeing it like the citizens in Paris. So what is this tower? Right? I don't want to go there today. What is mundane now? We spend, but maybe now to travel to Europe, 10, 12K with the gym bag, the family. You travel, you go solo also is expensive. But after 2-3 weeks, that Eiffel Tower that was so amazing, what does it become? Just another detail. Why? Because our mind does not place so much value on it anymore. The mind always plays tricks. And after spending so much of money, we're seated in Changi Airport, right? How do we feel? You're just going to board the plane to go to Paris. How do you feel? Excited, very happy, right? But you haven't reached. Just imagine this, you're very happy. So, the mind thinks that anticipation of happiness is happiness. Now you go to Paris, very happy. But once 3-4 days passes, you will start thinking about just 5 days left. I need to come back now. In Paris, your mind becomes miserable. Then you are seated in Paris airport on the 10th day. Now you have to come back. How do you feel? Amazing, I'm going to go back. Yes, finally, back to my mundane life. We feel miserable. How much have you spent? So much to come back? Miserable. Gita is $10. You sit anywhere, under Eiffel Tower, on top of Eiffel Tower, no Eiffel Tower, you'll be very happy. But why? Because it's only $10. There's no tower. This is how the mind plays tricks on us. We can sit anywhere. Human beings are so powerful. You can sit anywhere and be happy. Because all the happiness is not outside. It's all inside. I'll conclude with one point. Why do we not realize this? Because Gita tells us there are 4 planes of existence. The first plane is the plane of sensual objects. We interact with sensual objects. Indriyani paranyahu. We interact. That means if, let's say now I have a certain phone, I interact with that object that is giving pleasure to my sense. So we feel very happy and we exist on that platform. If we have a certain phone, if we get into a certain school, after we get placement, we get into a certain company, all these are called sensual objects. They dictate how happy we are in life. You see, that is the lowest standard of enjoyment. But nowadays, our education teaches us that that is the highest. But Krishna reverses the whole thing. That is the most, as Mataji used a very nice word, mundane way of enjoying life. That is the most crude way of enjoying life. To get a good job, to stay in a good country, to get a good salary, to drive a good car, to have a good home. This is the most mundane way of enjoying. Next, Indriyani Paranyahu, Indriya Paramanaha. The next is the mind, the plane of the mind. If you transcend sensual objects, you come into the mind. But if the mind is not stable and it is always fluctuating, and mind only has two functions, sankalpa, vikalpa. I like, I don't like. I like, I don't like. That's all we do. That is why human beings are not able to go to the next level. Because every day, whenever we see food, I like, I don't like. Someone comes in front of us, I like him, I don't like him. I like her, I don't like her. Situation comes, I like this situation, I don't like. Teacher comes, I like this teacher, I don't like this teacher. Subject comes, I like this subject, I don't like this subject. Friday comes, I like, I don't like. Monday comes, I like, I don't like. Everything is about liking and don't like. We are not able to transcend this primitive way of living. A man who is happy or a woman who is happy has to transcend likes or dislikes. If you don't like math, but if you do well in it, you have transcended your likes and dislikes. If you have exam tomorrow, you like watching the TV. If you don't watch it, you have transcended the likes and dislikes of your mind. Do you get benefit from it? Yes. You don't need Gita to tell you that. Our parents have been telling that to us for many years. Transcend your mind in different words. So that is the existence of the mind. But above that, Manasastu Para Buddhi, the intelligence is the third plane of existence. Intelligence will tell you what is right or wrong. But if your mind is very agitated and very powerful, you have given power of attorney to your mind will dictate to your intelligence. I'll give you a perfect example. You go to sleep, you've read an article that if you run at 5 a.m. in the morning, you will feel very refreshed for the rest of the day. So what you do, you take your sports shoes, you put it somewhere where you can take it early in the morning, you put all your running clothes and you're ready. Your intelligence tells you to do all these things. Very smart. You go to sleep. Your intelligence tells you, put the alarm. 5 a.m. alarm rings. Intelligence wakes you. You look at the clock. I was very tired yesterday. It's too much food. I think I'll do it tomorrow. You know who's saying that? The mind. The mind overpowers the intelligence. And says, go to sleep. So the intelligence goes to sleep. And we continue functioning on the plane of the mind. But even above the intelligence, Yo Buddhe Paratastu Saha. Paratastu Saha means we. Who are we? Are we the sense objects? Can you say that you are your iPhone 15? No. Can you say that you are your mind? And now people are looking confused. Yeah, I thought I was my mind. We are not our mind. We are not. We are not our emotions. Are we our intelligence? No. Why do we say my intelligence? Who is the mind? There's something else that is inside. That since birth, we are always saying my head. You're not the head. You are telling yourself you're not your head. If someone passes away, what do we say? He has left. She has left. But the body is there. So we all know, without any spiritual backing, that we are the soul. And this soul is a source of happiness. This whole Gita is telling Arjuna, don't exist. Whenever you get time, at least Arjuna, we must find pockets of time when we spend time on the platform of the soul. And you will find you become very happy. When you go to school, you cannot tell your teacher, platform of the soul. You can't tell her. You must exist in the platform of the mind and the sense objects. But when you read the Gita, you completely move from all these three planes to the plane of the soul. And that is all they ask us. Whenever we find pockets of time, we should try to exist in the platform of the soul. That is where the Gita comes in. And it gives you empowerment to correctly, in a regulated way, to exist on all the other three platforms. Because you cannot run away. You need a food. You cannot say, I don't need a food. You need a school. You need a job. You need family. You need your intelligence. You cannot run away from it. But there are times you need to leave that platform to have a bird's eye view of what's happening. Because if you always are existing in a certain place, you become familiar with it, you become very myopic. You don't know where the loopholes are. You don't know where things are breaking. But when you come to the platform of the soul, you get a broad view. Where are my mistakes? And Arjuna did this. Arjuna did this. I'll conclude with one story of how we should read the Gita. Now you've heard this discourse. I can guarantee you that you will not read the Gita every day for the next 1 month. It's not going to happen. But I'll tell you one thing. If you want to get the benefits of the Gita, then again we should follow what Arjuna did. There was once Arjuna, the Pandavas, they were exiled to the forest. We all know, right? So they were in the forest, they were lying in a certain cave, and brothers always used to look out for each other, and also Kunti was there. So they were looking out for each other. One day, Arjuna felt that one of the brothers was not there. And he was right. Bhima was not there. So he started to get afraid that, how come one of the brothers is not here? I need to go out looking for him. And then he started to hear a faint sound. Started to follow the sound. And it was pitch dark. It was so dark, he could not even see his own hand. So he lit a torch and he started to walk and look for Bhima. So he followed the sound. And eventually he found Bhima. What was Bhima doing? What he always does. Eating. So Arjuna said, it's time to sleep. Why are you eating? And he said, I'm too hungry. Food is not enough. Somehow we are staying in the forest. So I need to eat more. So Arjuna said, yeah, wrap it up, come back and sleep. We need to protect each other. As Arjuna was leaving, something struck him. He was thinking, I was carrying the torch. But Bhima has no torch. But he's eating so peacefully. He knows where the food is. He knows where the hand is, the plate is. He knows where the mouth is. Everything is happening perfectly. So he went back to Bhima and asked, Bhima, how is it possible? I can't even see you, you can't see me. How are you doing this so seamlessly? So Bhima casually said, practice. Every day I do it. You only found me today. This really struck Arjuna. Because Arjuna had a desire that he wanted to shoot when he could not see his target. Arjuna was perfect in archery, but he always had this desire that I should shoot when I am not able to see my target. So what did Arjuna do? He started to practice. Bhima said practice, so I'll practice. So for an entire year, Arjuna started to practice. First day, did he hit the target? No. Second, third, I don't know. But he kept practicing. And at the end of the entire year, Arjuna was able to hit the target when he was not able to see it. The conclusion is that if we want to become good at something, or if we feel that something is valuable to our life, it is not going to happen overnight. If you think something is important, you must practice it. Find time. This I am speaking not from Gita but from my own personal experience. this book, Bhagwad Gita, it gives you a lot of value in your material life and your spiritual life. You actually become smarter by reading it. Your choices become smarter. All you have to do is not to find time, because you will never find time. You have to steal the time. Whenever you have pockets of time, in the morning, in the evening, after you come back, just pick up the Gita. Find a verse, read it. Read the purport, and you will find as days goes like this, you will find that your life becomes very fragrant. Because the Gita is like perfume. So thank you very much for very patiently hearing. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions, any comments from anyone? Usually we do this, we speak maybe for half an hour, and then we open it to the floor. If there are any comments, any questions from anyone. Usually for first 20 seconds, nobody will ask anything. Yes, please.
You mentioned about you talk about the word Sandhyani, right?
Yes.
Right. So you mentioned 3 levels, right? But how, like, as a students, as a working professionals, right? How can we, practically tie this to life, right? You mentioned practice is one thing, and then to get the understanding, definitely, everyone has a dream. He wants to become, they are studying, like we have studied, and we want to reach to certain level, right? But that is a dream, as you mentioned, so how we can relate and practically try and get to next level and do this thing.
Very nice question. So how to practically do it? Do not deny the existence of these 4 planes. That is the first point that needs to be understood. We have to accept it. Arjuna tried to escape the first 3 planes. He wanted to move to the 4th plane by saying that I don't want to exist here. I don't want to do my duty. When you have something, like I said in the start, when you have sumptuous food in front of you, don't think too much into it. Enjoy your food. You see, when there's a time where you need to be happy and enjoying yourself, immerse yourself in it. But with regulation. The mind, you use it, and your intelligence, you use it to study. You all are students. Don't try to escape that plane. A student should leave no stone unturned to become the best version of themselves. There is no escape route. Gita never says that. So never doubt that now I'm spending too much time in my studies. I should go to the temple. Or if we are going to the temple, I'm spending too much time in the temple. I should go back to my studies. Wherever you are, exist in that plane. This is the point to be understood. Never doubt. Never be distracted from plane to plane. When I first came to study the Gita, I had a teacher who was teaching me. And I had school one day. And I told my teacher that, today I have school. My teacher told me, then why are you here? I was expecting him to praise me. Oh, wonderful. Even though there's school, you came to study the Gita. He said, no. If you have school, you go to school. Then there was a point in time he knew I was on holidays. Then he called me and said, now you have holidays. Now why are you not here now? Are you still studying? I could not answer him. You see the point. There's always a time and place for everything. We tend to mix up things. Some people ask me, I'm at work. I try to squeeze in a verse of the Gita. Why? For what? If you have time, you can do it. How do you read the Gita when you are working? Neither will you absorb the verse, neither will you get your work done. Those who are students of the Gita, they exist concretely on the plane they are meant to exist. In school, you have to apply your mind and your intelligence. You can't suddenly, in the middle of nowhere, think of the 4th plane. But when you come home, when you have time, you have all the time to exist on the 4th plane. Take that time. That's the thing. Isn't it practical? That's what Krishna is saying. So that's the point. We cannot have any doubts in our mind. Don't be discouraged. Don't be distracted. Apply apply yourself in each plane. Be in the, we always hear this statement now that be in the now. Okay, you can use that. In Gita, there's no mention of being in the present. Because Krishna is highly practical. You must be in the present, right? If I'm a driver and I want to be in the present, and if I look at the traffic light, it's green. Now what is the light? Green. But if I keep thinking it will remain green and I want to be in the present, what happens? I'll fool myself. Amber comes, red comes, I beat the traffic light. So you must be in the present, but you must have a view of the future. This is Gita. Be in the present, but have a view of the future. So that's how we practically handle this one. Right? Yeah. So be in the present with a view of the future. But whenever you get time, you must try sometime to exist in the plane of the soul. For some it's 5 minutes. For some it's 1 hour. For some it's 2 hours. For some it's 24. I've seen people who exist on that plane for 24 hours. And you will find that as your practice of the yoga, the Gita teaches, it progresses. You can remain in a place of turmoil and still exist on the plane of the soul. And still conduct all your duties very expertly. But we cannot jump to that plane so quickly. What we need to do is to apply yourself in the plane that you are in now. Then you will get the energy to jump the planes. Is that alright, Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Yes.
You were talking about soul. So basically, what is life according to the Gita? So we are alive and we will dead. So it is a complete circle. So what the soul is basically, and why God started the universe and.
Okay. So you've asked $1 million question. But it's a good question. Because what he has asked, when we ask this question, it is when human life actually starts. If we don't ask this question, who am I? That's what he's asking. You will find that we are still in animalistic living. Because only a human being has the intelligence to ask, who am I? Why am I here? A lion will not ask you, why am I here? It will not. So this point of who we are, Krishna tells Arjuna that we are the soul. He tells Arjuna that this body, probably every 7 years, right, round about there, goes through changes. You are an infant, right? Then you become a boy, then you become man, then you get to old age, and then you pass on. But you will find that your experience when you were a child, that experience is carried right through all the bodily changes. Your memories, right? When you were in primary school, and those who are a bit older, you remember your college days. And at 40, 50 years old, you still try to run like a small boy or a small girl. But the body holds you back. But the heart is saying that I should be able to move. Then you start accepting, no, my body can't move. But the heart wants to move. So, the heart, why does it feel that? Because the heart is the seat of the soul. It passes from boyhood to youth, to adulthood, to old age. And when the body experiences great pain, at some point in our old age, this body becomes inhabitable. You cannot stay in this body anymore. The mucus and the cough and the bile, it all starts running. Now we don't know it. Biology will teach you, but you will get the real biology lesson when you come to that age. You will feel it. So at that point in time, we, the soul, feel that this is not a place I want to be in. And what the soul will do, it will decide to exit that home. It's like this house. If this house deteriorates, no one wants to live here. You have to move from one house to another house that is more habitable. So that is how it happens. We all have a home now. This body is our house. It's like a car, you know. The passenger does not say that I am the car. He's the driver, and he will look after the car. If it's an expensive car, you polish it, right? You change the tires. So we also do that for our body. Teeth falls, we put false teeth, right? Eye falls, we put some false eye, right? Skin falls, we inject with Botox. So whatever we do for the car, we do for the body also. But you will find that no matter how much you try to upkeep the body, eventually with all the Botox also, the skin will eventually start to sag. So same way, no matter how much you pump the fuel, no matter how much you change the tire, eventually the car will give way. And what does the passenger do when the car breaks down? Just sit there. Passenger will exit. It's a choice. That is how we need to realize that we are not this body. So you are right. Our life is that we are the soul. And when we leave this body, based on what we are thinking about, this mind, intelligence, and false ego, it forms a wrapper around the soul. When we leave this body, it forms a wrapper around the soul. And it actually carries us to the next body, based on what our mind is thinking. If we are thinking this life, that, next life, I want to become a very famous footballer. Or now itself, I should have become a famous footballer. I should have become a very famous actor or singer. Don't worry. The body is already being created. Every desire we have, the package is already delivered. And we will enter that body to experience it. But remember one thing, no matter where you go, right? I remember Jim Carrey said this. He said that I want everyone to become as rich and successful as me. He said that everyone in this world, because when they come to this side, they will realize there's nothing here. You see? So the body is created, but you will still have to go through birth, old age, disease, and death. So the intelligent man, Krishna is saying, rather than creating bodies after bodies and entering bodies after bodies, better we break out of the cycle. You see? So that's life. Life is a cycle, but we have a choice, like how the passenger comes out from the car, we have a choice whether we want to get out of the broken car or not. And what is our next car? Do we want to get into another car, or do we want to exist in such a way that I don't need a car, I can just fly? How many of you want to fly and don't need a car? Right? Most of us want to fly. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, become self-sufficient. Don't depend on this car, that car. You should be able to travel on your own. I hope that's all right.
I have one extension.
Sure, please.
So, as you were talking about, we will fly. So, eventually, initially we are there, and in the end we want to be there. So, what is the purpose of life? Why the life started? Because in the end we want to go to the God.
Yes.
Not in the cycle. So,
very good. This is a very excellent question. Usually people ask this after they have read the Gita. So I'm not sure whether you read it, but it's a very good question, right? Life is all about choices. You will find one thing, whether we believe in God or not. If we don't believe in God, you know that in life we have choices. If you believe in God, I'll tell you one thing, God gives us choices. There's absolutely no restriction. The country, the government, the society, the community, this material world will give you restrictions. But God sets no restrictions. You can live life how you want to live. But we must respect. Remember I told you the government, the material world, those restrictions we have to respect. Case in point. Traffic light again. God does not say you have to stop at the red light. Now, if you beat the red light, and if the policeman comes and you say that God didn't say, you know what's going to happen. Right? Same way, if you are having a cold, you keep drinking ice water, you keep eating ice cream. Right? Did God make you sick? It was a choice. So how did we come here? Gita tells us it was also a choice. This material world, the example is given of a playground or toy shop. When we were young, we used to pull the hair of our parents. I need this toy. I will not exit this toy shop if I don't have this toy. And the parent will tell, don't, it's not good. But after a while, the parent will relent because the child made a choice. So we made a choice. Then why is it that God is the only person that should enjoy? Why should I only enjoy here? I must enjoy on my own. You see? So what does the father and mother do? You want? I'll bring you to the playground. I'll create a playground for you. Right? I'll create the toy shop for you. I'll put the toys inside. Enjoy yourself. So this world is like that toy shop. We are all coming here very curious. What is this? What phone is this? What car is this? What company is this? What school is this? We're all very curious. So we get into a job, we get into a certain relationship, right? So all that happens, but the curiosity eventually ends. So the fact of the matter is that it's our choice. We wanted it, it was created by us. But because there is restrictions, we suffer the restrictions. So ultimately it's our choice. Does that make sense to you? Good. Anyone else? Anything? Yeah. Yes?
My question is like, why the bad people are more successful as I compare like kind people?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Why the bad people are more successful as I compare good people are means standard people?
Don't worry, time is coming.
I saw many people like characters,
Yeah.
but they are more successful in the
Yes.
career and everything. But the bad people are struggle many times, but they are not in their targets and everything so on.
Yes.
And sometimes the God, we can't touch on the God that's reasons, lack of the trust on the God.
Yes.
When they say the second why?
That's a good question. See, there are two points to this. One is, what is our definition of success? Our modern education has given us a frame of what success is. So whoever has the most money, we just accept that this person is the most successful.
Yeah, nowadays the success is depending upon the money and profit. But it's like successful people like how to get your targets. I mean, my successful.
So true. So coming to that point. So first point is, what is our definition of success? And how do we define our targets based on that? That's first point. The second point we have to understand, as he rightfully asked, and I was saying, life is a cycle. We are the soul, we have a wrapper, and there are certain restrictions. One of the key restrictions that is placed like a traffic light in material world is the restriction of karma. Karma means action. But you will find that any action you do will always produce an effect. This we all understand. So, when we perform something good, this karma affects the state of the wrapper and of the soul. So if we do good, we get into a good body. The wrapper becomes flavored, strawberry, chocolate, more pleasant. You see? So you get a body that becomes more pleasant. If we do activities that are against material nature, then you get what you call. Have you tasted neem leaf? Neem, very bitter, that flavor. So you experience bitter moments in your life. But you must understand one thing. Those who are experiencing very good things, that flavor is getting rubbed away. It's getting rubbed away. It will not exist forever. Because just underneath that flavor, the neem flavor is there. It is coming to them. But whether they experience it in this life or just at the start of next life, we will not know. What we see now is that they are bad. But we don't know what good they have done before. We all have to accept this fact that no one is born bad. Some person must have done some good. You know, karma is like the court. If you have an intent to kill someone and you kill the person, in Singapore, you will be hanged. But if you do not have an intent and you accidentally kill the person, what happens? If you go to Facebook, everyone will say hang him. But the court will not flow with that. The court is very objective. Doesn't matter whether you think he's bad or right. It's what I think. So karma has that. Karma doesn't say that what is the popular word. If the person had done some good, he will experience it. If he has done some bad, he will experience it. The example is given of cows. You know, there's a calf that's white color. All the cows in a shed are also white color. If you and I were to go, we will never be able to find the mother. But the calf will find its mother. Same thing for karma. The calf will find its mother. So when we come to the Gita, it gives you a broad perspective. Your mind becomes very broad. You don't just take it at face value. This person is bad. You know that everyone has a background. Everyone. How far the background goes, only even they don't know. So that is how we approach life. That is why you will find that those who are with the Gita do not judge people very easily. The man who is enjoying also is suffering. The person who is suffering is already suffering. You see the point? Yeah. So we have a broad mind, not a myopic sense. So time will come. If they are doing bad now, it is guaranteed that the calf will find the mother. But it may not be in our time. What we want is, if you do bad on my terms and my time, I want to see you suffer. Doesn't happen that way. Life is not like that. So don't feel that there is injustice. The court, because of corruption or something, can let someone go. But life will never let them go. It is guaranteed. Is that okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I have one question.
Yes, please.
What's the difference between soul and consciousness?
Very nice. Excellent. Soul is the object. Consciousness is the symptom. That means the soul, its symptom, it is that it has consciousness. You cannot point. The soul is, if you look at elements, earth, air, water, ether, fire, these are elements. Most of the elements you can see. Fire you can see, water you can see, but ether you cannot see. Air also largely you cannot see. So life moves from gross to subtle. But the soul is something that is even more subtle than the subtle. You cannot see it with your mundane vision. Right? It's not magic. Example is the new dog whistle. When someone blows the dog whistle, you won't be able to hear it. But the dog will come running. Why? Because the frequency of the dog whistle is catered to the hearing frequency of the dog. An eagle can see very far. We are not able to see. So, certain bodies are acclimatized in such a way to see and hear certain things. Our body is not acclimatized to detect or see the soul. You see? Because it is in a certain frequency. But you can sense it. How do you sense it? Through consciousness. You see? The consciousness, the whistle, the dog whistle that goes, you're not able to hear it. But when you see the dog running, you know that the whistle was blown. The object was the whistle, but the symptom is the dog running towards you. You see? So same way, the soul is the object. The symptom is the consciousness. Consciousness means if I hit you, you will feel pain. But if you go to a dead body and you hit it, will it feel pain? It will not. This is logic. So when there is consciousness, the symptom is we have feelings. But the background of all the feelings is consciousness. But what we think is actually the mind. It is not. It is actually consciousness. The moment consciousness or soul is extracted out of the body, you will not have emotion, you will not have pain, you won't be able to think, you won't be able to see, you cannot do anything. So that's the point. Object is the soul, the symptom is the consciousness. So if you want to experience the soul, you have to sense how your consciousness is working. Is that okay? We can
look something.
sure. Okay. Okay. I think we should wrap up. Very good questions. We will be in touch. There will be more programs like this, right? And you can also come after this to ask your questions. Very good questions you are asking. But one thing we must do is that after all these questions, if you want perfect answers, what should we do? Loudly? You're not convinced yet. We should read the Gita. Right? It is all there. And how much does it cost? $10. Okay, now we're going to chant. And I would request that we should all chant very loudly together. I will chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And once I chant, then you chant. This is one of the practical practices of yoga that is encouraged in the Gita, to keep chanting and to be calm and not agitated on the platform of the sun. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की। So we want to thank everyone for having come today. I'm so grateful you could have done anything on a Sunday evening, but you chose to be here, and I'm so grateful to all of you for that. I think we're going to expand on this program, as what I hear from Parth Prabhu and Shamdev Prabhu, is that we will continue these programs at the NTU. We're trying to get the classes or the classrooms booked, and you will have speakers coming more realized, even more advanced than this, and speak a little on the Gita. My only request is that it will happen either once a week or every fortnight, a month once. I don't think it is very difficult to take out 1.5 hours from a week, every fortnight or a month, to come and derive some value from what the Gita is all about. And you will find it is part of our culture. If we don't know our culture, then it's not a very nice thing, right? So it is good that we come, and even beyond our culture, it is a science. So I'm requesting very humbly all of you, just as how you all are here today, you should attend these programs, whether your friend goes, doesn't go, right? If you have exams, of course, sensibly, we may not have the programs at that point in time, but whenever you are free, please attend the programs, and most importantly, try to come to the Gita on a daily basis so that you will get a lot of benefit from it. So thank you very much, Hare Krishna. I thank you, Prabhu. He's been really behind the devotees to organize this. There always needs to be someone who's enthused. So I'm so grateful to you. And Prabhu, of course, with that link, you have opened up your hearts and your houses, your house to us. We're very grateful. Chaitanya Bhakti Prabhu, always happy to have you with us. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Mataji, oh sorry, I thought when I thanked Shamdev Prabhu, yeah, we thank the family, Shamdev Prabhu, you can see he's seated, but now the prasadam and everything else, of course, is done by Mataji. And the children who are here, right, their whole family is dedicated to actually propagate the teachings of the Gita. And they don't charge anything for it. It's Sunday evening, they could be doing anything, just like all of you. So this will actually go a long way for all of us. Thank you. Hare Krishna. We will now serve prasadam.
Let's thank Madan probably also for he is coming from the east, to give his association to all of us. And thanks to all of you also, thanks to yourself also, you have taken your time and you have come from NTU here to attend this program. So right now we all raise our hands high and we pray Hare Krishna Mantra 3 times and thanks each other and thanks ourselves also. Just raise your hands. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, 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 Hare